1963 movie, The Rain Man. Laurence, Harvey, Alan Bates, Remick. Directed by Carol Reed. We start in a church as a service for a dead man, Rex. Then we're back at the flat for the sort of wake. Positive comments about this man who's deemed dead. However, when they've all left and Stella, his tearful wife, has gone through the process of showing to the public how grieved she is, a man arrives and he's the alleged deceased. The final words of the group before they left was that she was well insured. His arrival after 3 months disappearance at a coastal resort in a boarding house suggests that this could be an insurance fraud. Then their joy is disturbed by a knock on the door. It's Bates. He's the insurance adjuster with regard to the policy on her alleged deceased husband. It appears that Rex had a private plane and it was crashed into the ocean or something. Crashed anyway, but they haven't found a body. Bates goes through the detail of this. We then see a flashback to the event which led to the plane crashing and bursting into flames, and Rex escaping through the rear door, the rear hatch door, hobbling away. This is the first claim, apparently, as we then see the couple, he's got a cane to help him walk. The meeting in the insurance office, Harvey is full of plans for a new plane, and then the bombshell hits. The policy has lapsed. A dispute in the office. The insurance company quoting their policy on no days of grace for monthly renewals, and Rex pinpointing his frequency of paying, but the divide is huge between the two. Of course, insurance companies don't want to pay out. That's the bottom line. So the scheme is laid between the two, Rex and Stella. He's going to fake his own disappearance, stroke death. She's going to make a claim to the insurance company, a sort of revenge package, and then for a period of time appear to be the bereaved partner, stroke wife, grieving for her lost husband. He's got a glider, take off perfect. So he loses sight, crashes into the sea. He's already got a life jacket. He swims to shore. Rex gets talking in a bar to a Aussie, a drunk Aussie. And then the Aussie leaves without his passport. An ideal opportunity for falsifying of documents, as he becomes the new occupant of this passport. Stella does as she's told, places the ad, then catches a plane to southern Spain, and goes to the hotel, and then sitting uncomfortably outside, in fact concerned at the lack of appearance from Rex, She's then confronted by a Spaniard who delivers some flowers from Mr. Black, who just happens to be the insurance office. So they both got that all along. It's not anything to do with Bates. But eventually she meets up with Jim Jerome, the Aussie, stroke Rex Black, and Harvey does a reasonable impression of an Aussie accent, to be fair, but returns to his natural accent to ask about the money. The pretense of having only just met continues, but the bank arrangements for the draft so the money can be taken abroad again. It's all been well worked out, and Harvey is convincing. Harvey discusses the possibility of another scam, the death of the Jerome on account of a poor heart. He clearly has got the taste for this embezzlement, and it pricks her eyes up. While sitting at an outdoor cafe, Jerome stroke Black with Mrs. Black, he goes off briefly, and who should arrive? The insurance adjuster, Bates. Stella excuses herself to talk with Rex privately, who's on another table, and Rex feeds her with the idea to find out about this guy, as she can't recall that he's the actual insurance salesman. Stella recalls who he is, and recalls what he said about me being lucky and celebrating, and then chooses the moment to depart. Max and Stella go off down the coast in the Alpine car, open top, and a meaningless plot, subplot. He gets some instruction on being a matador from two young kids in an arena. Bates just moses into town with his rented Elmer Meeks and spots the Alpine immediately. There's a scene where Rex is becoming more and more irritated at Stella's constant sort of worrisome persona, and she seems reluctant to relax and enjoy life. Eventually the trio sit down. Stella and Jim stroke Rex are great at carrying it off the fact that this is just a coincidence. It's just a normal sort of meeting, with the knowledge that this is the guy that adjusted on the insurance claim that they're living from. Dialogue, trialogue, call it what you will. Both sides are fishing for information, trying to find out any contradictions, any deception, anything that doesn't fit together. It's intriguing. The lack of trust, the deception continues. Jim looking for his diary in his shorts. Bates taking photographs of the two together at the beach. This underlying suspicion that's running right through this part of the plot. Jim stroke Rex decides to take some photos of Bates with Stella, but he's got a plan. and as he's about to press the shutter, he falls back into the surf and clogs the whole camera up with seawater. Thus, Stephen and Jim. A discussion about Mr. Black. Jim met him once. Stephen didn't meet him. Jim describes his lack of sort of understanding of business and money. Got himself in a mess. All these innuendos being put together. A word about the characters then. Harvey. Harvey is very full of himself. His character portrayal I find attractive, but deviance is sort of at the top of his agenda, and charm, and very quick thinking on his feet. He's handled the role very easily. Bates, on the other hand, is more quiet and sort of thought-provoking, but you sense there's an underhandness there, although on the face of it he might appear just genuinely a bit naive. Remick's character, very soft, somewhat naive, looks up to her man, but isn't afraid to actually point out flaws in the thinking of Harvey. But remember her in Days of Wine and Roses. She is a talented actress. In fact, all three of them. And that's what makes this sort of low-key sort of type movie a cut above the average. The acting is of a high quality. After a social, albeit inquisitive, Q&A from both of them, the day drifts into late afternoon, and she says her goodbyes, but before going back into her room she notices Stephen's door is slightly open. Curiosity killed the cat, I guess, as she advances in to get any snippets that suggest what his motivation is. Of course he catches her in the room, and then she does her seduction scene, which we don't see, but always a cast iron ace that in these circumstances. After he's screwed her, he then lets the cat out of the bag that she now works for a paint company and has nothing to do with insurance. And she looks absolutely gobsmacked as she's just attempted to shut him up by offering her body, all for nothing. The truths are now seeping out. There's an attempt to open the door, come in on after she glimpses the so-called diary of evidence, which is completely innocent and innocuous, and then she blurts out Rex, which of course is the deceased's name. Stephen then decides to get in on this deception act, tells a white lie about contacting London about information, which gets Jim stroke Rex's hairs on the back of his neck standing up, and then inadvertently he describes him as Rex, which then also gets a response. The plot thickens. Rex believes that they're onto us, even though Stella knows that he isn't, because he's in pain, and he's got this complex plan to get over to North Africa via Gibraltar and be relieved of the presence of Stephen. It's all rather sort of heist-like. A traffic jam in a small town holds them up as they're fleeing, and Stephen in pursuit is just a few cars' lengths behind, and Rex stroke Jim is now boiling over. He spots them, Stephen talking, and the music change, and it's almost like we're heading for a showdown. With the music and the drive along the steep mountains, it almost becomes Hitchcockian, like in the drama, as it you sense that Rex is trying to work out how he can force Stephen off the road. He rams him as he encourages him to overtake, and Stephen leaves the road. It's witnessed by some Spanish workers. Stephen's rescued in the nick of time by the workmen, and then the car plunges into the valley, and by which time Rex and Stella are about to hit Gibraltar. Police arrive at the scene of the collision, alert immigration, and they become aware just after they've stamped the passport for exit. But Stella leaves the car, and Rex then panics and drives away from the checkpoint. Stella and Rex end up in the Catholic church, and the argument over the money ensues. Of course, Stella tells Max all about her philandering, about the earring in the bed, and the fact that he's just a nice guy, nothing to do with insurance being tracking down him. But then the anger shifts towards the fact that she's been fucked by somebody else. Harvey. Police see Rex inflicting pain on her, intervene, arrest them as such, but she goes in the jeep, he goes into the car, which he then makes a run for it, the running man. An airfield, convenient, as he's being chased by the police, and it guns through his mind, he'll escape in a plane. He takes off, but unfortunately there's fuel leaking, and he now needs to find somewhere to land. Stella comes across Stephen at the police station. He decides to fake the circumstances regarding him being pushed off the edge of the cliff, and says it was a complete accident. It's all because of his love for Stella, of course.